Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm probably going to refilm this intro just because it's a little bit of a weird spot to start at, and my ISO is probably really effed up right now, so yeah, we're gonna do some plant chores. I know I have to repot some things too, so maybe it'll be like a mishmash. I'll probably do some like more care throughout the week, so I don't know if it's gonna be like a week of or what, but I hope you guys enjoy. I do have some things I want to talk about, so let's just get right into it. I haven't really sat down and like fully indulged in my plant care in a while, so I am like so ready to do that. I have midterms coming up, and so I've just been like on my studying stuff, and let me tell you, it gets really frustrating. So let's just get right into it. I feel like I don't like this angle. Yeah, I haven't really taken much care of my plants. I mean, I have, but it hasn't been like a sit down and like indulge. It's just been like, oh, this needs water, done, you know? A lot of these things shouldn't need water, but I also just kind of want to check in, make sure they're doing okay. And also, recently I got into it with someone in my comments, and I'm not going to get into the details of it because it's like, that's not really what matters. But the person did not agree with like my no drainage potting situation, which, let me like tell you, I have never been so grateful for those of you that like just don't agree with it but you don't say anything. Like, I appreciate that, because I know, like, I don't know, if you don't agree with no drainage, that is no, like, I don't have an issue with that, you know? I don't really, and I don't mean this like rudely or whatsoever, but I don't really care what other people grow their plants in, as long as they're happy with their plants and like they don't really need any help with their plants. Like, that is like, that's what it should be, you know? Like, I have no issue with that. But this person really felt the need to voice their opinion, and like, just the whole situation, it like, this person didn't like upset me because of what they thought. It was because of the things that they were saying, I guess. Like, it was literally just like talking to a wall. Like, this person was just like, which, like, if you don't agree with no drainage, it is not like, it is not my like job to like, I don't know how to say that. Like, it isn't, I don't feel obligated to like make you want to grow in no drainage, you know? Like, if you're completely okay with growing in whatever the heck you want, I am so happy for you. And like, I genuinely mean that. Like, if you have found something that you're comfortable with growing in, like, literally kudos. Like, I really really love that, because I know I have experienced that, especially now. It took me a while to get comfortable in like in like a new soil mix. Like, it has taken me a while, and so like, if you found something that's really like this is what I need to put all my plants in, I am truly 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 so happy for you. But like, this person, oh my god, anyways, I'm like not even getting to it, but I'm sorry, this person just really ticked me off. Again, not because of what they said, but because of how close-minded they were, and just their argument and all that. Whatever, that's not the point of this. But the point of this is, I have never been so grateful for those of you that don't agree with how I pot up my plants, but don't say anything. And if you have wanted to say something, like, please just don't. Like, I feel like most of the people that are like against no drainage don't really like think about it logically, I guess. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but like, for example, the person that I got into it with in my comments was saying that no drainage means like no oxygen to the root mass or whatever. And I'm like, sir, I don't know their gender, I don't know like anything about them, but I was just like, if like, for the like, I just want to stop that argument, because I feel like when it comes to no drainage, that is the main argument that people use. Like, your plants are suffocating, they're not getting oxygen. When you have root rot, that means that there is no oxygen to the roots. It is just complete water. There's no room for air in there. So if I have been growing my plants in no drainage for months on end, I think it's about to be a year that I've been growing my, some plants in no drainage. And like, I just want to say right now, I don't grow every single plant in no drainage. I am like perfectly okay with growing in holes. I'm perfectly okay with growing in no holes. Like, it really doesn't matter. But the argument that plants don't get oxygen to the roots in no drainage is not valid, because if they didn't get oxygen to the roots, that would mean that my plants in no drainage right now would have root rot. Do they? No, they do not. And I can tell you that right now. My maidenhair fern has been in no drainage for like 2 months now. Perfectly okay. Actually is growing back so well. My solanum, you guys have seen that plant? Perfectly okay. Has been growing non-stop in no drainage. And like this, I don't know why like people in general just get like the mentality that like growing in no drainage is wrong and like growing in holes is right, because I don't think that there is a right or wrong way. Like there is a way that works, and there is another way that works, and there is another way that works, and there is like another way that works. There is so many like things and ways of growing that work in this hobby that I would have like never even guessed. Like some people grow their plants in pon, in leca, in like perlite, and like there's so much out there that it's like, how can you even say that one thing is the right way and one thing is the wrong way? Like, it isn't that simple to me, I guess. And I'm like getting way off track. Hold on, I need my water actually. Anyways, my point here is not to convince you to grow in no drainage, because that is not my place ever. Like, if you don't want to grow in no drainage, don't. But like, don't, and please listen to this, like, even if you're thinking about saying something or like you don't agree with no drainage, don't push your opinions onto another person's collection, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they, how they like to take care of their plants, what they like to see from their plants. So I'm sorry if you guys can hear my cat eating. She's like eating right below me. I'm like almost like 80% sure you guys can probably hear her, because last time it was freaking loud. But all of this to say, thank you guys for not saying anything if you don't agree with it, and if you like think that it's cool, because I feel like I've talked to a lot of you guys, and like I absolutely adore like people who are so open-minded and like are willing to try anything. I think that there was a comment underneath like one of my videos that was like, oh my god, like I've been watching you for a while, and I've seen your like no drainage plants, and I've just been like wondering about them, and like I like that just makes me want to give you a hug because like I adore that. Like, I adore open-mindedness. I love that, like, even if you don't know, or oh my god, hold on, let me scoot this over. Even if you like don't necessarily like think that it's right, but are still like open to the idea of it, or like still think it's like a cool concept or something like that, like I appreciate that so much, because that just says a lot about like who you are, I guess. And yeah, by no means am I like trying to like force no drainage on anybody. Like, if you guys don't feel comfortable, or if you just don't really agree with it, that is perfectly okay. I just don't agree with it when you're in my comments like saying it and like saying that it's the right way to grow, because like I feel like that could be so far from the truth. And like, you guys, the conversation with this person, I want to like there are so many things that I want to say to this person about like about how they went about it, about everything, that happened or went down. But like, I have said all I really needed to say, and like it was literally just like talking to a wall, and I'm not gonna sit there and like continue to like talk and talk to someone who doesn't want to hear, or someone who doesn't want to keep their mind open. So that is the end of it. Moving on from that negative place that we were just at, recently with my design class, ooh, this has new vines popping up. Recently with my design class, I didn't really know what imposter syndrome was, and like I don't mean to be like, I don't know, like it's always like a pop culture thing now to like talk about that, I guess. And I don't mean this in like that sense whatsoever, but I truly like felt imposter syndrome, like the most I've ever felt it was in this design class. And it's kind of like, if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, I know a lot of people talk about it, but I feel like it's not really like, it took me a while to like even understand what it was. I actually started listening to a podcast recently. It's like Psychology of Your 20s or something like that. I'll pop it in the screen. I've really enjoyed that podcast. I've only listened to like 2 episodes, but I'm really enjoying that podcast right now. And in the first episode, oh my god, let me lower you this a little bit. In the first episode, they talk about like imposter syndrome and like, I guess like what it means to have imposter syndrome and what it is and like why you experience it, I guess. And if you didn't know, imposter syndrome is like the feeling of like not belonging, not feeling like you deserve what is in like what you have in your life. And also like if you do experience like success or like you finally feel like you've accomplished something, when you do feel like you've accomplished something, you feel like it's not because of your own work, you feel like it's because of, you know, something external. Like, I don't know, like I watched a YouTube video and that's what gave me this success or whatever. And recently with this class, I have experienced that too. Like, you guys have like no clue how much this class has like emotionally put me through in like such a short time. And like the only like, even like, you guys should go watch that podcast if you haven't, or if you're thinking about it, go watch it, because I feel like, or go listen to it, not watch it, go listen to it, because I feel like it explains some things that I can't really put into words. Like when it comes to imposter syndrome, there is like a cycle, and yeah, there's just like certain steps that like everybody goes through when it like comes to feeling imposter syndrome. And like they talk about like how to break that and like, yeah, all that stuff. But to tie it back to what I wanted to like initially talk about was YouTube. Like even now with like, I feel like when I do get to 1K, I feel like I'm going to feel major imposter syndrome. And it is because of like the community that I've experienced, that I feel like I do deserve it. And like, if you guys, I don't think I've ever really talked about this, but I have always, actually that's already watered, so I can just leave that. Okay, really quick, let me cut the serious talk to show you guys this. Do you guys see this? Do you guys see this? Oh my god. I know the like saturation is all kinds of messed up, but, and the saturation, the exposure, but look at that new leaf, you guys. That thing is gonna be massive. Oh my god. It's literally like half of this leaf. So I already know this thing is probably gonna be like here. Do you guys even see my finger? No, you don't. Hopefully it's there. We'll see. We'll see. I also need to repot this, but I want to wait until that leaf completely unfurls so that I can move this. I've literally been leaving this alone. Because if anything happens to this leaf, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna be extremely upset, okay? That's all I gotta tell you. But yeah, to tie this back to what I was saying about YouTube, I feel like, oh, right. Ever since I was little, and like my cousin can attest to this, I used to be very, very close with one of my cousins, and we both like wanted to start a YouTube channel like so deeply, and like we would even record videos and like stuff like that, but it would never go further than that, you know? And so just like to be able to like fulfill that, I guess, like it's always been something that I've wanted. And the reason that I never really like did was because I never really had, oh my god, that's cold. I just dropped water everywhere. I never really had the like passion for something. Like I knew I wanted to do YouTube, but it was like, okay, what would I do it on? Like I was so small, I was so little, like I didn't really have interests besides like makeup, which didn't come until like further on in life, and even then, like, it wasn't like something that I was like passionate about. Like, I've never really liked to do eyeshadow or like crazy looks like that, you know. It's always been really like simplistic makeup, so I don't, it's not something that I feel like, it's not something that I feel like, you know, would be like my YouTube channel, you know. Like, it's not something that I feel crazy about. Also, another big reason why I like stopped myself from starting a YouTube channel was because of like my phone quality. I used to have like Samsung. I've had like 3 or 2, I think it was 2. And like, I just always felt like really like, oh, my quality isn't there, like, I'm gonna, you know, when I get a better phone I'll start one or whatever. There was always that like excuse of like, why not start one, you know? And so last, what year was it? I don't remember the year. If I can find like when I started my channel, I'll pop it in the screen. And I did start it with makeup, and I started it after, you know, I was actually, when I started it, I was working at a science lab, and I was making, you know, pretty good amount of money. So I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a phone. And it was, I have the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is what I still use to record. And what was I gonna say? And so I bought myself this phone, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna start it. And I did. And here we are now. And no, I'm joking. And yeah, I started it, and at first it was makeup, but I always like felt it. It just like, even like editing my videos when I did makeup, it just didn't feel good. It just felt like really like a chore, and I don't know, it just didn't feel good. And then I slowly started to get into plants, and I'll actually tell you guys a story of like how I got into plants too. I don't even think she knows this, and I'm not sure that she watches my videos, but my brother's girlfriend was actually the person that got me into plants, because she bought my mom a plant. And there was a time where I didn't live with my mom. No drama, like nothing like that. It just slowly happened. I lived with my sister for a while, and then you know, I came to my mom's, and I saw this plant on like our like kitchen ledge or whatever, like our windowsill. And I like looked at where, you know, the plant was from on the, I looked at where the plant was from on the like pot. It still had like the tag, and it, you know, said the name of a plant store, and I searched up the plant store, and it wasn't like too far away. So I think like the next day or like that same week, I decided like, you know what, I'm gonna go and buy a plant. And I did. It was a monstera, or was it, is that how it's read? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got my monstera from there. And then afterwards I got like the not neon pothos, what is it called, golden pothos. And then after that I went back to that store, got an aglaonema, and then slowly from there, like, I just started to build my collection. And that store is actually where I ended up also working. And so I don't know, that's just kind of how I got into plants, and ever since then it's just kind of been this way. Like, I've just kind of fully fledged out into this hobby. As I started to get into plants, I was still like trying to do, you know, YouTube for like makeup and stuff, but like I said before, makeup was never really like my like passion, and plants just slowly became that passion. And here we are now, after like, I think it's been like 2 years or a year. Pretty sure it's been 2 years since I started this YouTube channel, which is like, I know it's taken me a while to get to where I am now, but I am like so pleased with the journey I've taken. Like, I want to say I don't regret anything. Like, I don't regret the steps that I took to, and like the changes that I made to my channel, and just like being more, because I feel like it's hard, especially, not that it's hard, but like it's difficult to make a YouTube channel while also still like pleasing the algorithm, but also still staying true to like who you want to portray yourself as, and who you, not portray yourself as, but who you want to be. like what kind of YouTuber you want to be, and what kind of content you want to produce, and what kind of like titles you want to use. Like there's so many like conflictions is, I don't feel like that's the right word, but there's so many like things that just like kind of like you have to like pick one, because you can't do both. Like you can't be like a genuine person and then also use like really like clickbaity titles, you know? Like it's just, I just don't want to be that type of YouTuber or that type of person in general. Like, and I feel like even now some of the content that I've like made, I still feel like it's really like attention grabby, and I'm just like it's difficult to like balance that, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys one of my seedlings has a new leaf. The other one does too. These are actually kind of like synced up, so they each give me a leaf kind of at the same time, and I'll show you the other one. It's a Doc Block F2 crossed with a red crystal, crossed with a Carla, crossed with a Pappy F2. And you guys can see, hold on, I feel like I'm not doing this plant justice. You guys can see there's the new leaf. If you look at the petiole of it, you can see how like girthy that petiole is. That shows you that this plant or this leaf is going to be pretty massive, and so I'm excited. And honestly, I just can't wait for like both of my seedlings. Honestly, I think this one is a RA5 Swamp Bunny crossed with a Regardens. I don't remember. I know it's crossed with a specific Pappy, but I don't remember which one. They're all Pappy. Like literally every single one that it's crossed with is a Pappy, but they're just different. They're different isolated characteristics. So like the RA5 has a specific characteristic to it. It's still a Pappy, but it has a characteristic that is what is it called? Isolated, and they just like grow it out, and they named it differently because it has a different characteristic than like any other Pappy, and so it's really prominent. I don't know if that makes sense. And then the Swamp Bunny, also a Pappy, same thing. And then the Regardens, I'm not sure that that's what this one's crossed with, but I'm pretty sure that that's what the cross is. And the Regardens is the same thing. So if you're ever confused about like Anthurium naming and stuff like that, I'll insert some like infographics, I guess. They're kind of drawings, and it like shows you the differentiations of like each Pappy. There's also one for like the Carlas. There's another one for like another type of plant, but I don't remember which one. I think it's like the crystal. I'll insert them. You'll see. By the way, if I haven't mentioned this, these are my first seedlings ever. Like, I haven't grown anything from a seed before, and so these are going to be my first ones, which I'm super excited about, and like I just cannot wait. Seeing how quickly my like Polydiflorum or even my Wavy No ID sized up, I like literally cannot wait until like I cannot wait to like just experience every little bit of it. And so every leaf I'm just like sitting there watching like a little kid, because it's just so freaking cool. Like, I don't know, I love anthuriums so much. So quick little thing about this top shelf, most of my carnivorous plants are in here, and then I also have like this dome which rarely ever needs water. I have like a propagation in here, or two, I think, two propagations, and then I have this like prop box situation. It's kind of like a terrarium. I just have like sphagnum moss in there, and then I just throw in like wet sticks or whatever I really have left over that's a propagation. I don't really do like wet stick propagations. Most of my propagation you'll see like in my little like IKEA acre bar thing. I don't think that one's the acre bar, but I think it's something else. I don't know. But in that one, I'm usually always water propagating. It's just easiest, and you know, a prop box, you need high humidity, you need space for it. So I don't really do prop boxes, but yeah, most of my carnivorous plants are up here, and I have this like orb of live moss inspired by bungee plant, of course. And so a lot of this stuff doesn't really need water, but I'll just go around and do the round, see who does, see who doesn't. I think this Pinguicula, wait, did I already show you guys this? I think I showed you guys it before, but I separated my like carnivorous plant bog just because I wanted my pinks to be in a separate one because this thing is getting really big really fast. And I thought that it was started like growing normally, like what a ping is supposed to look like, and I guess it didn't. I think the issue might be that I'm overwatering them. Like I'm just giving them too much water so the leaves kind of don't form correctly, or like they form really pinched in. So I'm gonna try to give this a little less water. I think that I'm so used to taking care of like my carnivorous plants the way that I take care of my Dracaena, but I think with these, I don't know, because I've seen them grown both ways. Like I've seen them grown in like literally like in a puddle of water and they're doing fine, but I don't know if I'm just like putting too much water in here or what. They have amazing roots. It's literally just like the foliage that isn't really there, you know, how I want it to be. And so I think that I'm gonna try and not give this as much water, and like obviously I still want to keep this like moist, but I just don't want to keep it like drenched or like a consistent reservoir, which I don't think there is one now. So I'm not gonna water this, but I also am not gonna let this dry out, so we'll see how that goes. It's gonna be a really weird balance, but I don't know, it's because I've seen people grow them perfectly fine and no drainage with like, you know, a reservoir or whatever, but mine just will not. I don't know what's up with mine. Oh my god, that scared me. Also, I freaking love this. Hold on, let me get up in your space. Can you guys even see it? No, you can't. I'll insert a video of what this like situation looks like because I absolutely love it. I found this pot in a thrift store, of course. I'm not even sure. It says RRP Company Ho, Roseville, USA. Roseville, USA, RRP Company HO. That's all I see. If I find anything on this pot, I'll insert it because this pot is so freaking cute. Like, I adore this pot. I'm so glad that I found it because, I don't know, like, I felt like in the other pot that I had it in like a souffle sort of dish, which this kind of looks like a souffle dish, but, yeah, in the other pot that I had it in, it just looked really like, I don't know, it just wasn't fully there for me, and this has just like completely like taken it there, and I absolutely love it. Also, oh my god, I need to bring you guys in. Look at this beautiful like display. Oh, look at this beautiful display. I love how like this one right here, the one that's like really sprawly and tall and thin, that one is a Drosera capensis. I love the juxtaposition of like this one is really big and skinny, and then this one over here is like really small and the petals are like super thick. I absolutely love this. Like, oh, it is so stinking cute. I have a little piece of apophyllite in there. Apophyllite, I don't feel like I'm saying that right. And then I have my little mushroom, and then I also have a beautiful piece of garnet in there as well. Garnet, I'm like I've always been obsessed with garnet. In the sunlight, garnet looks like, right now it's right there, that's garnet. It looks like almost black, but then in the sunlight it has like this red shimmer. I love garnet so much. I also really like garnet because of Steven Universe. That's like one of my favorite shows. I actually will not admit this, and am like skeptical of even saying it, but Steven Universe made me bawl my eyes out, you guys. I bawled my eyes out to that show, and yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys my cute little display. Oh. Also, I've separated so much of my ping. Oh wait, I want to let that dry out actually. I left in my like, what are you called? Oh my god, are you guys crooked? In my Pinguicula bog, I had 3. So I had 2 that were like kind of together, and then I had another one, which is the one that you guys saw, the smaller one on the side. and I actually decided to separate that other one, Pinguicula. Like, at least this one I've noticed it splits so quickly. And what else was I gonna say? It also gets really big really quickly. So I was like, yeah, 3 in there is just not gonna work. So I separated. So I already had 2 that were separated, which are, I have one down here, and then there's this one. And then I also just separated this one, which I'm going to be selling all of those, or trading too. I've also decided that I'm okay with trading. I just don't know when is an okay time to sell my plants. It's either gonna be like soon. The only thing is with school, it's just kind of hard to like figure that out. And then another thing is just like I feel like I want them to be established and like good, in a good condition to sell. So I've just been waiting on that. And I was also like kind of thinking that I might wait until like I go on break, which is gonna be spring break, which is in like March, which might be a while, which is the only reason I don't want to wait. And then I also do want to like sell and trade them so that I can have like kind of like a fund saved up for, you know, my plants that I'm going to purchase. Right now I'm only planning on allowing myself 1, maybe 2. Like I'm strict on that, like maybe 2, because I already purchased a plant this week. Yeah, this week. And so I am like really strict on that. I have 1 plant that I am like eyeing. I already know like what vendor has it, and I'm going there the first day. So I'm like keeping like that like in my mind, I guess. And so yeah. You doing okay? This thing hasn't grown for me in a while. So I'm kind of, I mean, it kind of looks like it wants to push something out. Maybe it just needs water. Where's my water? My friend also gave me this string of turtles, and I don't know if it's rooted. I'm pretty sure it is, but I really want to like repot it and like make it look cute. Also, if you guys have string of turtles and you have like those big turtle leaves, let me know how you care for your string of turtles. I feel like most of it is just light. It's also a palea, so I feel like it can dry out, but at the same time, I don't know, I've just never really done good with string of things. So let me know how you care for it. Right now my turtles are pretty plump, so I don't think it needs water. Also, in my last like plant chore-esque video, or plant care, I guess, one of you said that you enjoyed hearing like me talk about myself, which I've never really like shared a lot about myself in my videos. And again, it's just one of those things that like never really did or like performed well. And even like when you watch like tips on like starting a YouTube channel, they always tell you like not to talk about yourself, especially when you're like a small channel. So I just never really did. And like I tried to, and there were times where I did, but then like I don't know, they just didn't do well, or I just in the end I just didn't really feel okay with the video. And so I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm not sure that I feel like I don't know, okay with sharing more about myself. I feel like I've definitely started to a lot, and I think that as time goes on, I'll definitely start, you know, trying to share a little bit more. But if you guys have any questions, I don't know, I'd be okay with answering them. And yeah, just let me know. I guess I could do like a repot and chat maybe. Or just like a chatty repot. So yeah, let me know. I guess, I don't know. Oh my god, I have this little cloche with like a little frog in it. Oh my god, that I was using. I keep hitting my branch under there. I need to stop doing that. And I've kind of neglected this. I have a Monstera Stendaliana in here too. Okay, I'm gonna take this off. I also have green garnet in here and like sunstone. And it is so cute. Okay, hello everyone. It is actually Friday, so I haven't really updated this throughout the week. I did film prior to today. I filmed on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. But I think I'm gonna scrap that footage, and I just wasn't completely satisfied with how that turned out, and so I think that that is gonna be scrapped. And I did repot 3 things, which I want to show you guys because I feel like it's very important for this channel, and it'll just be something that I can refer back to and you guys will sort of know what I'm talking about. And one of these things we'll get into, but it's really exciting. I guess we'll start with the smallest thing. I actually potted up my little Burlmarks Fantasy, and so you guys can see these little leaves. My lighting is so terrible. Hold on. Okay, hopefully this is better. But yes, I did repot my Burlmarks Fantasy. I potted her up in this cute little pot. I did put it on a moss bowl just because I know if this is not on a moss bowl, it will look so ridiculous. It's not even funny. And I know it kind of looks ridiculous right now because it's in a really small pot, with a really long skinny moss pole. And so I know this kind of looks a little bit ridiculous, but I'm hoping that as this grows in and as the leaves get bigger, it won't really be as much of a like worry, I guess, because it'll be bigger and then it'll need a repot. And I just potted this because I do want to get this, you know, growing. I do really like the more mature leaves, even the smaller leaves. It's just such a beautiful plant, and I really do want to see this one through, get it sized up, and experience its whole journey. Oh my god, you guys, right now the light is like catching a shift on this and it makes it look really sparkly. It's so pretty. Yeah. So I repotted this one, and it's just in soil on a moss pole, and so I'm hoping that this will do okay in here. And so far I haven't noticed any like bad transition. Like the leaves still feel pretty firm, and it did have a new leaf when I repotted it, so that is still like unfurling just fine. So I'm really excited to see that one through. And then I also potted up my gigas, which I just potted up one cutting. I was gonna do multiples, but some of those cuttings were just not entirely ready to come out. This one did have a little bit of a shock to it, I guess. If you haven't been watching my updates, I talked about there being like some fungal weird like spots on this, and one of you actually commented that it might be bacterial blight. I looked into it. It is indeed bacterial blight, and so I tried to rinse that off after I had repotted this, and I don't think it was entirely happy with that. And so the leaves just the next morning felt really like flimsy, and just like you could like just feel how like rubbery and like dehydrated those leaves were getting. And so I wouldn't say necessarily dehydrated, because the roots are entirely fine. Like I've literally looked at the roots on this so many times to make sure, and I'm pretty sure I actually even unpotted this to like really make sure that it wasn't like shock or root rot or anything like that. I think it was literally just the spray. If you look in this corner, there's a root right here at the bottom, right there, and then there's another one up here, if you guys can see that one right there. So there is roots in here, and they're white, they're healthy, they're still growing actually, and so that helped me a lot. Like if I wouldn't have seen those roots, I would have freaking unpotted this and panicked a little bit. And so I was like, okay, it just needs some more. First of all, I needed to rinse off what I used. I used like Castile soap, and I think I just didn't wash it off entirely. I did use like a napkin to like wipe it off with water, but I don't think that was entirely successful in removing it. So I just literally put this under the wash, like under the sink, and you know, was like rinsing it off, and at the same time I was just letting the leaf sort of soak up that water. And within like, it was only like a couple, I want to say it was like 2 minutes maybe, like on this whole plant, like rinsing off every single leaf. After that, it felt so much plumper, you guys. Like it just was like night and day to how it was before. So I'm so happy, and now it's like literally perfectly fine. Like I can just lift this leaf up without, you know, anything flopping. Some of these do feel like, this one especially feels really like floppy, and it still kind of has that like curled dehydrated manner, but I think it'll be fine. Like, I'm not really worried if I lose this leaf, to be honest. I know it's a big leaf, but I'm also not really happy because this leaf is the one with the most like bacterial blight on it. It has it like around here and then around like these lobes. And so you guys actually kind of saw it right there. There's like you guys see those little spots on this side right here? That's the bacterial blight. And even down lower, like, it just gets really, really bad. So if I lose that leaf, it is what it is, and I've actually been considering chopping it off, but it is a good form of photosynthesis, so I'm just gonna leave it on for now. But other than that, this one has been doing so well, and I don't know what else I can say about this one. I'm so happy that this one is finally like starting to like be an actual like established plant, and I'm hoping that it continues to grow and like be successful in that way. But I am so happy with this one, and I cannot wait. I also put it back in its like classic butt planter. If you guys weren't on my channel before, I had this plant before it was chopped was in this planter, and it's just like cool to see it back in the same form as before. And lastly, I think you guys are going to be really excited about this one. I extended my Splendid. So this moss pole goes all the way up to here. And this is a lazy moss pole, which this was my first time ever extending a lazy moss pole. Normally, whenever I extend my lazy moss poles, I am repotting the plant and just putting it on a bigger piece of acetate. But with this one, I was like, I don't want to repot it. And I also don't know how I'd feel like giving this plant like a giant piece of acetate like this, because I feel like at some point it does lose its like rigidity, but surprisingly this has actually held up pretty well. And all I did was this is where the original moss pole is, like this is where it stops. Oh no, wait, that's not it. This is where the original moss pole stops. So this is like the top of the bottom moss pole. And then all I did was I just cut an extra, well, I didn't cut it. I had this piece laying around, and it is very long. It goes from here. Oh my God, you guys can see it. So it goes from here, up here, to about here. So you guys can see how big that piece is. And I just shoved it all the way down on the inside of the first moss pole, and that has been pretty solid. I don't have like any bamboo in here or anything like that. I also made sure to put this in, like, this isn't potted in here, but I haven't found a pot that I'm ecstatic about with this, you know, display. So I am wanting to find a more permanent pot for this one. I think when I go to the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, I'll probably look for some there. I really want, I don't know if you guys have been on my channel for a while, but with all of my pots, I really try and be very intentional, and I would call myself picky with my pots. Like, I know it's kind of ridiculous to be picky about your pots, but I feel like your pots can have such a drastic influence on whether you like the plant or not. And so I really try to like be specific about what I want my plants in. It's why, like, I have a pot that I could see this plant in, but I know I wouldn't like it, so I just decided not to even try that, because like I could try and pot it in there or like just place it in there, but then 2 weeks later I'm just gonna take it right out. So there's no point in me really making that decision or like trying that, you know. I mean, I could try it and I could like it, but 9 times out of 10, every time I've done that, I just end up regretting even doing it, and I just move it back. So that's besides the point. I am really trying to focus on my pots, and so, well, I've always really tried to focus on my pots, and so that's why this one isn't really in a permanent pot. I have it in a clear vessel. It has leca in here, but this leca is just to sort of stabilize this so it's not like jiggling around as much, because you guys can see it still can do that. But I just feel so happy with this plant. If you didn't know, this plant has taken me so long, but it is finally in caterpillar stage. And just look at this leaf, you guys. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. That's why I was so like adamant about, okay, I need to extend this. And this new leaf is actually unfurling already. This is like the tip of the leaf, and you can see that beautiful like red verrucosum parentage on it. I'll probably insert some b-roll or some pictures of it. But yeah, this one I'm so excited about, and I definitely wanted to feature this on my channel because I know a lot of people kind of get, I know
I think Charmaine has even talked about this, like when it comes to the lazy moss pull method, it's kind of difficult to extend them. And so I think that if you're wanting to extend them, shoot, I wish I remembered the size of my acetate. I think the size of my acetate is like 0.7 millimeters. I'm not sure. I had a choice between 0.8 and 0.10, I believe, or no, it was 0.7 and then 0.10. I was gonna go for 0.10, but I don't know. It was more expensive, and I also just didn't know if it would really make that big of a difference from 7 to 10. But 7, I think, has done pretty well. Like, it's pretty thick. People have always asked me, like, what I could compare this to. I can't, there's nothing immediately that I can, like, snap this to. Like, I don't know. Like, I've always tried to, like, find something that I could compare it to so that you guys sort of know the rigidity and, like, the thickness of it. I honestly have no idea. The closest thing I guess I could come up with is like a plastic cup, but I don't think that that is even really a good comparison because plastic cups are a little bit thicker and they have a little bit more rigidity. And so I don't know. I guess the best comparison I could come up with at like this moment right now is like a Fiji water bottle, but slightly thinner, because I think a Fiji water bottle would be like maybe the 10 or like a 12, and so you kind of have to like double that down. This is a 7, and so you can kind of just feel the difference, I guess. I guess I would also have to have a Fiji water bottle in my hand right now to really compare it. But if you're wanting something to sort of compare it to, I would say like a Fiji water bottle, but the Fiji water bottle is thicker. So this is not as thick. Just keep that in mind. And I did order this on Amazon. It's like a giant roll. I don't even think I've touched that roll in like months. Like, I haven't had to cut from that roll in so long because of winter, and then on top of that I just have like a whole bunch of leftover pieces that I just like don't even need to really go near that roll. But that's besides the point. Yeah, this extension has taken so well. I'm so happy. I didn't fill it up all the way because I didn't want this knocking over with how heavy the moss would be on top, and so I just filled it up not even that much, to be honest, like maybe less than half of the moss pole. And as this grows up I will be adding moss, but for now I just kind of wanted, I guess I also kind of want this leaf to unfurl completely so that it kind of has a little bit more balance on the front end. But we'll see. I'm so happy with this extension, you guys have no idea. Yeah, I really do love it, and it's still sitting behind me on this area right here where my Fleur de Beauty is. It fits perfectly there. I love it there. It has just like seamlessly transitioned into that area, and I actually want to show you guys that area because I have been so fulfilled by this area, and I am just like so happy with every little bit of it. And I just want to share that with you guys. Hopefully it inspires you guys, because if you have been on my channel for a while, and if you're new, this is a big thing that you'll notice with my channel. I really focus on the way that design plays a role in enjoying your plants, and the way that you want to display your plants. Like, it just affects you. At least for me, I've noticed it affects me mentally, and like if I can just make my plants look more beautiful in like a very like in a really pretty pot, or just in something that makes it like, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but makes it like level up in a way where it just looks so beautiful, like with both the plant and the pot. And so I've really tried to like put that forward and focus a lot of my attention on that. And that's, again, like I explained earlier with the Splendid pot, I really want to be intentional with my pots and with what plants I put in it and things like that. So alright, you guys, this is the plant space I was talking about. And to you guys, oh my god, this plant space just makes me so happy. And there is like no, oh my god, there is literally no other plant space. What is happening? There's literally no other plant space that makes me as happy as this one. secondly, I would probably say my area down here, which I'm watering right now. It's why it looks kind of crazy. I forgot to put my Burl Marks Fantasy back. I did have her sitting here because I do want her to get a little bit more light, so I put her there. But this is my area, and I just want to go through these plants a little bit and tell you why they're up here. And most of the plants that are up here are plants that in a way have kind of like deserved their spot up here, I guess. Like they're either like sizing up, like that's why this one is up here, is because it's so big I don't have another space where my Florida Beauty would go that it would, you know, get enough light. Oh my god, I should have washed these leaves. But yeah, so this one's up here, and then you guys can see it has a new leaf, which I'm so excited for. It has like so many different colors on it. Like, do you guys see this? It has like 3 different shades of green on there, probably 4 or 5. Oh my god, I just can't wait for that leaf. But anyways, and then my Splendid, it's sized up to a point where I just don't have anywhere else to put it, so it goes up here. And then my Solanum as well, which you guys haven't seen this. I think I talked about this in the last, you know, in the footage that I scrapped. She's bald, you guys. She is bald. I know the last time you guys saw her, she was chopped, but not chopped this much. And so yeah, I restarted her. I have so many cuttings, so I am not like worried about this plant whatsoever. I know she will be missed, but I know in no time she is just gonna bounce right back and show you guys what you've been missing, because she is an absolute beast. And then over here I have my Burl Marks Fantasy, which I put here just because I want it to get a little bit more light. I could have put it over here, but I don't know, I wanted it to be somewhere where I would see it, and this is just where I landed on, I guess. And then my Ripsalis, which of course this plant, I love seeing it up here, you guys. Again, if you don't know what Ripsalis are, they are kind of cactus, I guess. I don't really know exactly what they are or like what family they're in. I'd assume they're in like cacti, but they are so freaking cool, and I just love the different texture that they bring within like a display. Like, do you guys see that? It is so freaking cool, and I can't wait till this is like trailing over, which I have no doubt about that. I do have it in some perlite and pond, just kind of like rooting in here, and I do want to get that in a really cool pot. It will also probably stay up here. Like all of my big trailing plants I also was keeping up here, like my Solanum, which is sadly not a giant trailing plant anymore, but she will be, trust me. And so yeah, I have this plant up here just because I didn't really have anywhere that was getting enough light for me to be able to keep this anywhere. Like I didn't have another area where this was getting enough light to like have it there where it would like actually grow and root. And so I just put it over here, and it has just done amazingly, you guys. I love this plant so much, and I can't wait for it to be like an actual established plant in like soil or something. And then back here, I know it looks really cramped, but it's actually not that cramped. Like I can tell where every plant is. They're not just like all swished together, you know. This is my, what is your name, sir? What is your name? Mag X Lux Crust with a Pappy, I think. I'll have to look back on that, but this is from Russo, and oh my god, I've fallen in love with this plant so much. This was a new leaf, and it has just been such a champ, you guys. This leaf was actually in the in the sheath when I first got it. Like you guys can see the old leaf that was there that broke off. It came out of there, and this plant in general, you guys, has just amazed me so much. Give me 1 second. Like, look at that. It's rooting up so amazingly, has a new leaf. I seriously cannot wait for this thing to size up, and I do have it back there because I know, first of all, this plant was already sort of getting a little bit light bleached, and so I just wanted to not let that happen. If you guys don't know, or if you're new to anthuriums, Pappy is a type of anthurium, and Pappy does not really appreciate, it doesn't appreciate high light because it just burns. And so if you have anything with pappy in it, you'll sort of notice that less light actually does it better than worse, you know? And so this is like really far from the light, you guys. Like this plant is here, my lights are all the way over there. I don't know if you guys can tell that like difference, but it's a pretty big difference. And so yeah, this just doesn't get much light, which I've actually noticed hasn't really had a bad effect on it. I haven't had to water it, which is one thing that I'll say. I don't think I need to water it today. It still feels pretty, oh god, it still feels pretty hefty, so I don't think that that really needs water. But it's definitely not complaining, and if I do notice that it's complaining, I'll probably put it closer or just figure out something else out for it. But I really love it, and it's like a little secret, like, you know, area that you can like go to like discover this. Like, just look at that. Oh my god, I love this plant so much. And the texture too. Oh my god, I adore it so much. And then my wavy no ID, this leaf, I'm so mad at myself. I can never just like this plant recently has just, I haven't been able to grow a successful leaf with it. This leaf was before this leaf there was another leaf. That leaf was like, I think it was pristine, or the leaf before that one was the one that I like cut into accidentally because I was like trying to help it out the sheath or whatever. And so every single leaf on this plant has had some sort of damage, and I just want to prevent that. Like this one, even from when it first unfurled, you guys can like barely see it, but there is some sun bleaching. You can kind of see it like up here. Oh my god, it looks so dark over here because there's like no light coming in. And so yeah, this was even bleached from like the second that it unfurled. And then this leaf, well, after that leaf, it gave me another leaf which never unfurled completely. And then this leaf, you guys can just see it. It's not doing well because it also got bleached. These Sansi bulbs are very strong. If you are thinking of getting Sansi bulbs, do not underestimate them. Keep them like further the better, to be honest. Like even my philodendron were getting burned, and it's not like these were getting like too much light. Like at least the philodendron, I know philodendron can handle up to like 1,000 foot candles. It was like maybe 500 foot candles. I did measure it with my phone and stuff. I used the Photon app, and it wasn't too much light. I think it was just too much light for how these plants are adjusted to my light, you know? Like they're adjusted to a certain amount of light, and so these new leaves that were coming out and were coming out and were coming out aren't used to that light. And I also keep moving my plants like forwards and backwards, so it also hasn't really had time to like adjust to that, I guess. Oh my god, I really need to rinse this off. There's like a splurge of EFN right there. Yep. And so it also just hasn't had time to adjust to that. And so I guess I should have like known, like literally my philodendron are getting bleached, so I should have just moved my anthurium back, but it's all a learning experience. I really just want to be able to grow a nice leaf, and don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful leaf and a gigantic size up. Like you guys, I'm so proud of this plant. I'm really sad that this got some bleached, but on the bright side, it is like, just look at that. Oh my god, so perfect and beautiful. And there's only like a certain area on this plant, or on this leaf, oh my god, there's only a certain area on this leaf that is sun bleached, and it's literally just right here, because like up here, while it was like unfurling and expanding, I was still seeing that like blue shift. If I haven't even talked about my wavy no ID's new leaves in so long, because I haven't really had that positive experience in a while. I was going to with this one, and then I sort of ruined that. But yeah, definitely. Oh my god, you guys, you know what I just noticed? This has a red margin. I don't know if that's coming across, but there is like a red line all around this, and it is so pretty. Oh my god, this plant just continues to amaze me.
I am so obsessed with this plant, and I was gonna chop this off, but my friend was like, no, just leave it. It's like, just leave it. It's so pretty. Like, even though it's burned, it's still pretty. And I do agree, but I also just don't like that it's burned, and I'm ready for the new leaf. So I was kind of like on the verge of chopping this down, but I didn't. I don't think I will, because I just love, I don't know, I'm still happy that I got a new leaf. I'm just mad at myself for letting it get burned. And it's not as bad as it could have been. Like, there's definitely some, like, you know, signs of it there, especially right there, and especially down here. But I don't know, I still want to see how big this leaf, like how big the size up has gotten, also because I haven't gotten a new leaf that's fully expanded in so long. So I have no idea what the, like, size growth is right now, I guess. You guys, I cannot stop staring at this beautiful red margin. I'm obsessed now. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, and I think that is all of the plants on here. Is that? Oh, no. My Florida Beauty. Of course, my Florida Beauty. She is struggling. I don't know if this thing is actually gonna do anything. I don't know if it's, like, struggling or if it's just, like, still expanding this leaf right here, which, love this leaf so freaking much, you guys. I don't think I will ever get tired of Florida Beauty. I want, and honestly, most of these plants up here, I want multiples of. Like, I want multiples of my Solanum. I definitely want multiples of this, and maybe at some point I want multiples of my Splendid. But yeah, that is sort of the wrap for this. And I kind of want to highlight this area because of how, like, how much this area has sort of meant to me in a, like, not in a while, but it's just like, whenever I think of a space that I feel really excites me and, like, embodies the design aspect in this hobby, I feel like it could be a little bit more well done in this area. Like, if I had my own, like, space or, like, house to really decorate, I don't think I would keep, like, my plants so cluttered together, because it just, like, I don't mind this as much, but, like, when it's on top of, you know, more plants and more plants, I do sort of mind it. But with what I have right now, this is, like, my space that I truly enjoy. And, like, anytime that I tell someone I'm into plants or that I have house plants, I always show them this area, because it is just, like, my pride and joy. And I feel like, not even because of, like, how big these plants are, like, obviously that's a part of what makes this area so, like, magnificent, I guess, but just how I've displayed the plants here. Like, it's not really about, like, it's not really about the plants themselves. It's about them together. It's about, like, them with, like, these cool little pots. And, like, even, like, my pot that my Florida Beauty is in, I absolutely love that pot, and I actually cracked it. I'm so mad at myself for that too. That pot is cracked, but I'm still, like, chugging along, gonna use it. And so, again, like, just really be detail oriented with your plants. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, like, I'm gonna use this color on this pot and I don't want this color in that pot. You know, it can be, like, if you want it to be, but really just, like, pay attention to how your plants make you feel. Be mindful of what pots you like with that plant and how that affects your mood within the space. Like, it is such a big deal to me, and I've felt that, and so I just kind of want to push that along throughout my videos as well, because I feel like it has made such a drastic difference in my mental health and just, like, my happiness within my space. I feel so happy to be in my space, and that is a majority due to my plants and the displays that come out of them, and I just love them so much, and this space just makes me so happy. Okay guys, I've set up. I have 2 plants that I want to repot, and I don't know if I want to repot anything else. I don't think anything else really needs a repot like crazy. Ooh. I've decided I'm also going to repot these. First of all, let me
Actually, you know what? We'll start with these just because we're talking about design within the plant space, and so I do want to sort of piggyback off of that with these plants because that's what I'm sort of thinking of with the reason why I'm repotting these plants. So I have this. Have I shown you guys this yet? Maybe not. I don't think I've showed you guys this yet. I think I showed it in my Thursday thing, like spiel. Thursday? Yesterday was Thursday. My Tuesday spiel. But since I'm scrapping that footage, I have not showed you guys this yet. This is a new plant that I got. It's called a Vitellia areoloba, and it is so freaking cool. I love this plant so much, you guys. And if you've been on my channel for a while, I don't feel like I collect a lot of like weirdo plants. Not necessarily weirdo plants, but like unique plants, you know? Like I'm not just like all philodendron, or I'm not just like all alocasias, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. That is not even the point. The point is I got this cool new plant, and I feel like I don't even really intentionally try to get like plants that aren't really your basic houseplants, I guess, you know? Like I don't like intentionally go for those plants. I just kind of listen to whatever I feel like I like, and this is definitely one thing that like I really enjoy, and you guys will probably compare it to this one, which this is they're both used for bonsai, by the way, and this one is a Brazilian rain tree, and you guys can see the like difference in oh my god, I hope that it's actually showing it, the difference in growth. You know, like this is definitely a lot more tree-like. They're both trees, but I think that this one needs a little bit more light to like fully like open up its canopy and stuff. But I am so like satisfied with both of these, you guys. I don't know what it is with plants that grow these like really I know there's a name for them, and I'll try and find the name because I know that that's what they used to describe the leaves on this Brazilian rain tree. But anyways, yeah, I got this cool new plant, and it wasn't that pricey. Actually, oh my god, this needs water. It wasn't that pricey, and actually I'm not gonna water it. I'm gonna wait until the whole spiel. And so this plant I just popped in this pot because I thought that, you know, it was just what I had at the time. I was like, whatever, it'll look okay for now. And I don't really enjoy it. I really struggled to put plants in this pot because nothing really like sits well with me in this pot. Like I just don't know what it is. I do really like the colors of this pot, and I really enjoy like the little details that it has on the front, and I like it, but I think that the shape is a little bit hard for me to completely like feel satisfied of putting something in here. And so I was thinking the other day, like, what if I switch my maidenhair fern into this pot? I feel like the growth might help me enjoy this pot a lot more. And then if I switch my, you know, new plant into this pot, which is really small, but I feel like it could work, because this thing doesn't really have a massive root system. It's in, you know, a pretty small pot. And with maidenhair ferns, I've noticed that they don't really mind having a bigger pot as long as you're giving them enough light. And I also just really like the growth on this one. I think that this pot needs this sort of growth to really work in my space. And so I definitely think that switching these two would benefit the display and maybe the plant. I'm not sure. I haven't really felt comfortable putting this one in no drainage, but I guess we'll see how that goes. And as for like switching plants that are in drainage to no drainage, I usually go very light on my watering the like first sort of week-ish, maybe even the second week, until I see that the plant is reacting well. Then I'll sort of, you know, care for them regularly. And it's not like I care for my plants in no drainage differently than I do my drainage plants. Like I still let them dry out. I still water them when they're dry. It's just, I feel like once you move a plant to no drainage, you can kind of get away with like you don't have to be as precise of like when you water it, I guess. Like you don't have to completely let it dry out, like especially with my solanum. And I noticed this like for plants that are a little bit more thirsty, so like my solanum and my maidenhair fern would definitely be a great example. But like things like a philodendron, you kind of do have to let them dry out. I've had my micans in no drainage last year-ish, yeah, like last year-ish around this time, and it did perfectly okay, but the mix was very, very chunky, and when I watered that, I would make sure that it was like on the lighter end, you know. But with these sort of more thirstier plants, I feel like you can kind of get away with it. Anyways, so let's just start repotting it. Let's see, how am I gonna get this out? This has no drainage, by the way. Guess I'm just gonna kind of use it like a, oh, there's a name for that tool, I can't remember it. There's like a knife thing that you use in like gardening. A hori, that's what it's called. A hori. And so I'm kind of using it like that. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. Okay, come on. Oh my god, I see new roots. Okay. Oh, I'm breaking some. Okay. In the video that I decided not to post, I was talking about... I do still want to talk about the things that I talked about in that video, but I feel like, I don't know, just on a smaller scale, I guess. And so in that video I was talking about, or in that footage I was talking about how plant care is really subjective, and I don't mean this as in like you can interpret it in your own way, which I mean you can, but I was talking about this in reference to the video, or to the comment that I got about no drainage that I talked about in the first day of filming this, which you guys would have probably just seen. And so, oh my god, you guys, I'm sorry. This is kind of difficult. Oh my god, there's so many amazing roots. Look at all of those nice root tips. Oh my god. And this is in no drainage, by the way. Look at that. Awesome. I didn't even expect that much, to be honest. I thought it was still like in rehab, but... So I was gonna just pop the Maidenhair Fern in now, but I also want to make sure that this new plant fits in here perfectly. And I feel like, isn't this gonna be such a cool like pot combination? I feel like it just goes so well together. I also really like the juxtaposition of like this being really like, it looks really like vintage and like old against like this old, you know, bark, and then like this new bright green growth. I don't know, I really like that, and so I feel like it'll look really, really nice together. Oh wait, I should put leca at the bottom. Is that all I had? Oh, apparently. Okay, that's fine. Oh, this has new roots too. Okay, when I was looking about this, when I was researching about this plant online, I saw that it doesn't necessarily enjoy being repotted, so I don't, every time I repotted this, I've only repotted it once since I got, oh my god, these roots smell really bad. Not like rotty, it smells like mimosa roots, like just kind of like sulfur a little bit. And so it's not necessarily enjoyable, but you guys, it was a perfect fit. Oh my god, that makes me like, it was meant to be. Also recently, I'm like getting all over the place. I need to focus up a little bit. But recently I've been seeing so many coincidences a little bit. Not really coincidences, but like just things fitting together. Like I think I watched Fern's like what was it? Was it her Planty Reset? I think it was her Planty Reset video, and like there was a spot, or I saw a comment that like mentioned how like the like her containers fit perfectly in her closet or something like that, and that I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like cool and satisfying. And then I saw something else that also was kind of like the same sense of like something just fit in there perfectly. And then today at school, it was actually a really good day. Well, good and bad. There was, you know, features of both. I found out I did pretty poorly on one of my midterms, and so that was kind of bad. And then I also got like a good thing, I guess, from my design class, which I don't really want to get into because I don't know the full extent of it yet. But I think something good has happened within that class, which that class has been like the source of all of my stress recently, and so it's just kind of nice to see something positive come from all of that stress. And then like earlier today I was like watching videos or something, and then I turned off, or I think my iPad was off or something, and I went to go turn on some videos, and the clock said like 333. Wait, yeah, it said like 333, and I was like, wow, that's a coincidence too. So I've just been running into a lot of things like that, which feels very spiritually nice, I guess. Like, not spiritually, because I'm not really that type of person, but it feels like a good sign, you know? Okay, now we're gonna do this freaking... Oh, I do want to keep this name tag. Oh, I didn't even show you guys. This is what it looks like. I'm not, like, against it, but I also am not, like, completely obsessed with it. I feel like if this was just a tiny bit shorter, it would look nice. Like, it would look nicer to me. But I think because of how, like, long and, like, you know, abstract this is, it's gonna take me a little bit to kind of get adjusted to it, but honestly, it is really growing on me. Like, even right now as I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I really like this. And I am gonna put just a tiny bit of water in here, just because I did notice it was a tiny bit dry, but again, I'm not gonna go really crazy with that because it is kind of gonna need... I mean, plants don't really need an adjustment period. It's more like you adjusting your watering, not really the plants adjusting to anything. At least that's what I've noticed anytime I've moved my plants into no drainage. Back to my original topic. In that first recording, I guess we'll call it, I was talking about how plant care is kind of subjective, and I was talking about it in reference to that comment because it was the thing that I had to, like, really go off of, I guess. But with that, I do wanna bring this up just because I feel like it's important. Oh my god, I think I'm loving this already. Okay. With plant care, I feel like it's kind of hard for me, at least, to look at it like one-sided, as in like oh my god. It's hard for me to look at it one-sided, as in like there's a right way to grow and there's a wrong way to grow, because I feel like there's so much that we don't know about houseplants. Like, there isn't really a way to be like, oh, this is the right way to grow. I feel like there's multiple ways to grow, and scientifically, yes, you could say like, oh yeah, this is like the most efficient way to grow, but I don't think that signifies that it's the right way, you know? And I feel like it's also important to recognize like how you grow really impacts your, like, your own mental health and like your conditions, like not your conditions, but like your stress, mental health, and things like that. Because I feel like if someone were to grow like how, like, let's say Philodendron Jen grows her collection, if you guys don't know who she is, she lives in Florida, which again is a pretty great area to live for like houseplants and stuff. She has them in like a really, really chunky mix that dries out every single day, and so what she has done is shifted her soil mix to fit into the way that she wants to care for her plants. And I feel like a lot of people tend to think of plants the opposite, like you need to... And so a lot of people think, I feel like, the opposite, like people will, like when they first come into this hobby, they'll sort of make their soil and then shift their watering conditions and their lighting conditions to fit to that soil, you know? But I feel like it's also like there's multiple ways of growing and multiple ways of thinking about it. So it's... plant care is very, very subjective, at least from my perspective and in my eyes. Like, that's how I've always sort of viewed it, because I feel like if we were all to like stick to one universal soil mix, at least for me, I feel like it'd be hard because of how my watering is, and I sort of have to learn to like shift my watering, which is a way that you can do it, but I don't think it's the only way, or like the right way to do it is to like shift yourself around the plants, because again, these plants are in our spaces, and although they are their own plants and their own sort of like ecosystem and just way of being, I think that it's also important to realize how a plant will grow best for you instead of like how it will generally grow better, I guess. Okay, you guys, we are done, and I think that I might enjoy how this grows. We'll see. As of right now, I actually really do like this. I feel like it looks very, like, I don't know, I just really, really like how this looks, and so I'm excited for that. I am gonna water this too. This one was already started dry, so I feel like Maidenhair Fern like kind of grows to the to the pot that it's in. Like with the other pot that it was in, it's grown like very small and shrubby, and it got like very quickly root bound, which I did not expect. I literally thought this was still a rehab plant, you guys. Like I didn't expect it to be like fully like rooted and like ready to go. But cool. I don't know. I'm not complaining. I actually really love that. And I love this display. I cannot wait to see it grow into here. The next plants that I was originally going to repot were these two begonias. I have this begonia Benigno pink. I used to have one that was potted up, got like annihilated by powdery mildew, and this one is also the same thing is happening. And so I don't know what I want to do with this. I kind of just want to repot it. It looks very like scraggly. My friend gave this to me, and it was doing well for a little bit, and ever since then it's just, yeah, see, that was all powdery mildew. Oh my god. This powdery mildew just will not, it will not go away. It freaking loves these begonia leaves. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I feel like maybe I shouldn't repot this one. Maybe I'll just let it be for a little bit. But I mean, it's growing new leaves, so I think that maybe I will leave this one alone for now. And then if it continues to do poorly, I think I might just chop it up and propagate it. But this one makes me sad. I don't know. I like how this plant looks. And the reason why I wanted to actually repot this is because of, in fact, what's happening right now. This soil keeps getting really hydrophobic, and that means it doesn't absorb the water. And so it takes very, very long. Like, it's literally like a puddle right on top of the soil right now. This one, however, I do want to repot, and I'm even thinking about propagating it, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. I really love this. This is a Begonia listata, and do you guys see that beautiful leaf? Oh my god, so beautiful. And yeah, I really like this one. So the reason I wanted to repot this one is also because it's in that same sort of hydrophobic soil. And I feel like it's not a bad soil, but because of how often I get to water these, it just, I don't know. I feel like half the time it's not even really dry. Like, this isn't dry. It's definitely not dry. I can literally feel it. It's not dry. And so I think that half of the time it's just kind of sealing the top. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's sort of, oh my god, encapsulating creating like a layer that isn't penetrable with water on the top, and then the inside is just sort of containing all of the water. Oh. And another reason why I wanted to repot this one is because this glass is like slowly breaking, and so that is just not gonna fly with me, because I don't want this to like continue. Like, it's literally just been continuing to go upwards and upwards. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a giant crack in here, and it just keeps growing and growing, so I don't want to deal with that. But yeah, while we're repotting some begonias, why not talk about begonia care? I'm not an expert in any way, but I feel like I do pretty okay with my begonias, especially after struggling with them for so long. I've grown them both. Yeah, I've grown them both like with drainage holes and without drainage holes, and both ways have been perfectly okay. I will say, don't listen to most things you hear about begonias. A lot of people say that they need to be kept moist, and I haven't really noticed that, honestly. I feel like as they get a little bit more root bound is when I can sort of allow that sort of fluctuation in like watering and allow it to be a little bit more moist. But I feel like that kind of applies to a lot of plants, like not just begonias. And so yeah, with begonias, I water them the same that I water my other plants. Like, I don't really leave a reservoir. I don't really like keep on top of the moisture levels, I guess. Like, I'm literally just letting it dry out and then going off of that. But if you're struggling with your begonias, it is probably because you're either giving them too much water or not enough light. Oh, this has 3. What? What? I did not know that. I was gonna try and like turn these around, but because it is bothering me that like they're growing like literally opposite. Like this one is growing this way and these two are growing this way, so I don't know if I should still try and do that, or I've decided I'm gonna leave these together. But yeah, if you're struggling with your begonias, that is the advice I could give you. I don't really know what else to really say. As for my experience with begonias and like in the time that I've had them, because if you've been with me through this whole journey of like my channel and stuff, from the beginning I had a like polka dot begonia, which was the Begonia Immaculata. Did not do great with that one. I think I just wasn't experienced enough to really know what I was doing. That was like causing it to go downhill. My grow lights were like terrible. I had like an IKEA bulb. It just was not ideal. And so okay, I'm gonna put my Begonia listata in my eyeball planter, which is not a very common thing. I normally don't like how things look in this eyeball planter, just because I feel like I'm very particular with what goes in here. So that's cool. But yeah, so that was my very first begonia. And then recently, like within the past, I'm gonna say 6 months, my friend has gotten into begonias like severely. Like she is a begonia head, and she has given me some and been like, you know, here you go, and here you go, and here you go. And I just have kind of learned, I feel like now if you're wanting to get into begonias and you're a beginner, my recommendation, just based off of my experience, would be to sort of like figure out houseplants as like care wise and conditions and watering and lighting and humidity, which doesn't really matter, but just things like that. Like make sure your conditions and your watering understanding is there, and then go to begonias. Because I feel like now, like I've done it both ways. I've tried begonias at the beginning, that didn't work, and then I've tried begonias at the, you know, sort of where I understand a little bit more. And so that's the recommendation I could make, to be honest, because it's just what I've experienced and it's what I've noticed has sort of helped me understand begonias a little bit more. And they're not difficult. Like they really are not difficult. I feel like people who say they're difficult are just people who haven't really been caring for them correctly. And I've even tried like terrarium begonias, which I just could not. Terrarium begonias are just not for me, I don't think, unless I'm like really thinking about like getting a terrarium, which I am, but I think that I also need a little bit more care guidance with terrarium begonias, because I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just letting them dry out, and terrarium begonias do not want to be let dry out, and that was just like the death of them. But if you're wanting to get into begonias, either like treat them like other houseplants, like let them dry out, not like a cactus, just literally let them get light. And general advice for plant care, if you're new to plants, is let the pot get light. Don't stick your finger in it. Don't like, I don't know, don't do like all these crazy things. The most that I've ever done is like taken like a chopstick and like stuck it in, and if like stuff was still sticking to the end of the chopstick, or I could like feel the soil on the end of the chopstick, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, like that sort of helps me understand a little bit more. But the main thing that you should go based off of is weight, like the weight of your pot, and really like get to know your plant, and along with like the weight, like don't get to know your plant in more than one way. Like don't just go based off of the weight. Also like feel the leaves, feel the stem, feel like really pay attention to how everything looks when it's really well watered, when it's in a, you know, good lighting, all of that. And also don't underestimate lighting, because I feel like lighting is very important. If you don't have good lighting, your plants are not going to do well. And if you have a south facing window, that is the best. East and west is also amazing. I have an east facing window. It is perfectly fine. But north is definitely, you wouldn't want to put any like, I don't know, like cactuses in there because the north just doesn't get enough light. And I say that from being on the southern hemisphere, I think is what it's called. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, that is my sort of tidbit on begonias. Actually, I think I want to flip this around. Definitely, if you don't feel like you completely understand begonias, give it some time and you'll get there. Like, don't worry. You guys, my voice, my throat is really starting to hurt. Oh god. Yeah, definitely don't like force it either, because if you're like gonna buy a whole bunch of these like crazy begonias and then just like not really understand how to care for them, it's not gonna work out. And yeah, I guess that's just what I would recommend based off of my experience. And also, I do want to talk about this too, because bringing up like the whole chopstick thing, as you get deeper into this hobby, I feel like you learn to kind of like, not necessarily learn not to use things, but as you learn, you use less and less things. Like, I know, I think Charmaine talked about like not callousing anymore. For me, it's like I dealt with so much root rot when I was like first starting out in this hobby, and I can't remember the last time I've like flushed out my roots with like hydrogen peroxide, or like sprayed it down, or like gotten, you know, like throw away the soil mix that it was in, you know, when it comes to root rot. And I cannot remember the last time I've done that, especially after working at my old job, which was a houseplant store. And especially after working there, I remember there was like a monstera that we had that was potted in. They make like custom soil mixes and all of that. And so they have like, you know, a soil bin that they will just sort of pull from. And that soil bin has like rotted soil mix, like not like, obviously not like, not something that was like stem rot bad, but just things, you know, soil that isn't like completely like deteriorated or isn't completely filled with like root rot bacteria, and we'll just like throw it in that bin. And you guys, I can't tell you how many times mushrooms have like popped out of pots because of that. Like, I feel like the more you make a big deal out of it, and don't get me wrong, like if it is to the point where your soil smells so bad and your roots are just non-existent and they're just melted and like all like combined, like, you know, when it gets to that extent, obviously you want to throw it away. Like, do not reuse that soil. But I feel like I've definitely become a lot less lenient on like things like that, like on hydrogen peroxide, on what else? I used to like wash, what did I used to do? I think I used to like, I don't remember things, like other things besides that I can't really think of, but I know that there's so many things that I have just kind of not paid as much attention to, and just sort of like let them like fall off as I've gotten more experienced in this hobby. And let me know if you guys have experienced this too, because I feel like it's definitely something that we all collectively like feel. And it's one reason why recently I've decluttered my you know, plant stuff, is because I know I don't use as much stuff as I used to, and there's just no need for that many things. All right, I finished potting this up and I freaking love it. Oh my god, look at it. I haven't potted something in here in so long, you guys. It's actually crazy. And with this pot, if you don't know, I actually made this pot out of it's like an old yogurt container. It's like the Wii yogurts. Customized this pot so that I could see the water levels on the side here. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that, but I customized it so that there was a little hole. And yeah, so I really like this pot, and I haven't really found anything that I'm like crazy about in here. So we'll see how long this lasts. I don't mind it, to be honest, but I feel like it could be better. I'm just gonna put a little bit of water in here.
everyone. I am back from the show. You guys, it was so much fun, and I did end up getting a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's not like a crazy amount, but it's definitely more than like I was expecting. I am like so happy with my experience. I'm not gonna lie, I did think there was gonna be a little bit more vendors when it comes to like plants and stuff, but I was still so highly satisfied with everything that was there. There was pings, there were so many Ripsalis, you guys. I was really watching out for the Holeri. Could not find it, so I got something else, which I'm still really excited about. But I'm just gonna start with predatory perennials. You guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know predatory perennials is like my jam. I love them. I actually got to talk to them a little bit more this time, and it's just really interesting to get to see how like a more more how do I explain this? Like a more produced, like a highly produced amount of pinguicula's care compares to like my pinguicula care. And so I did ask her a little bit more about that. And I don't know, I just love predatory perennials. They're so unique in what they can offer you, and the amount of pings that they had today, you guys, was insane, and like no other store can ever compare to predatory perennials. And if you are ever going to come to like Washington for, you know, an event or something, I would definitely try and get an event where predatory perennials is there, because they are just amazing. I love the selection that they have, and they're just like my favorite. I don't know, I love them. But I got 2 pings. Oh my god, I got 2 pings from there. Let me pull them out. I literally just got home from my friend's house, which you guys saw her cats. First, I want to start off with the raspberry blonde, and you guys, I had to get this one. If you guys haven't seen the flowers on these, they are absolutely stunning, you guys, like beyond what like the more common pinguiculas give, and it is just so beautiful. And this one even has a little baby, which I made sure to pick out, and oh my god, I just love it so much. And I'm gonna hold this. There's already a cat hair on here. Great. I'm gonna hold this so near and dear to my heart and just be watching every little moment of this. And then I also got the LRCA. I always don't know how to pronounce that beginning. LRCA, I think that's right. The Mighty Mouse or Minnie Mouse? Mighty Mouse. And this one is just so freaking cute, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. It was so hard to pick, you guys. There was like the Morinensis, there was a Agnata that was there. I was like looking at so many different ones, and I was like, and they made a great point. They were like, well, we come to like multiple shows. Like if you know, buy one now, you can always get the other ones later. And I don't know, I was very close to getting the Agnata, which they had like an Agnata that was like a blue flower, which is just so interesting to me. And I was this close to getting that one, but I think that this one just called a little bit more of my attention, and I will be getting that one at some point, because a blue flower on pinguiculas is like so cool to me. Like usually they're really like pinky or purpley or white, or you know, something like that. And just like, I'm just so happy with both of my selections. And I actually did ask her a little bit more about the care, because as you guys know, I've kind of been struggling with my care for a little bit, and I guess it'd just be interesting to get her insight on it, because she this one has a little baby too. I didn't even see that. Oh my god. There's that little itty bitty baby on the end right there. That is so cute. Oh my goodness. But it was just interesting to get to see her care compared to like how I care. So I asked her, I was like, do you let them dry out? How do you really go about the watering? She was like, yep, I let them dry out until they're sort of light, and then I water them, and like, you know, we'll get like a little dropper and go around, which is really interesting, because normally like online I see that, you know, you want to keep a consistent like reservoir on there, but I actually think I'm going to try out her way of caring, especially since she lives in my area as well, and like she understands the climate and she understands how to care for these plants within this climate. I'm going to go with her way. I think that it's definitely shifted my perspective a little bit, and I'm gonna need to do some repotting, because I have like my, oh my god, what is it called, my utricularia in with my pings, so that might have to be shifted around. But I just am so happy with these, and I don't want to, you know, stay on these too much, because there's a lot to go through. After predatory perennials, I stopped by Kent East Hill Nursery's booth, which I don't think I got recordings of, but I got this beautiful begonia. I'm not even sure what the name is. It just says begonia SP, but I'll try and get a good
name for you guys, and this actually has those blue shifts that begonias will have, and I'm gonna try and see if I can get a good video of it. And you guys, I am just like obsessed with this begonia. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was coming home with me. There was some other ones, but and also for the price, this was only $8, $7.99, and so I don't mind that, but it is just so beautiful, you guys. And Rex begonias, I found her a little bit easier for me. Granted, my Rex begonia right now isn't doing that great, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I am so happy with this one. I've seen this one on Instagram a lot too, and it's always been one that really intrigues me. I'm kind of surprised that this one isn't like a terrarium-ish begonia, but I'd assume it's pretty okay, like growing out in ambient. So yeah, this one is so cool. I'm really excited about that one. Next, I think we went to, oh god, what was this nursery called? They're from Spokane. Oh, I don't have the name on here, but you guys are not gonna believe who I have here. Okay, I got a Hoya linearis, which has been on my wish list for a very long time. And I literally, like, they had like drawers of like Hoyas, you guys. Like, you would just open the drawer and there'd just be Hoyas like everywhere. And there was a lot that I like kind of intrigued me, but I was like, none of them I really wanted to like bite the bullet for, I guess. And this one I saw and my heart like sank, and I just grabbed it and I was like, I'm taking you home. I love Hoya linearis, specifically wild ferns. Hers is so beautiful, and I cannot wait to grow this out. And I think I might even try and propagate this the way that she's tried to propagate it, by literally just cutting it and sticking it back in the soil, which I know a lot of people have had some pretty good success with that. But getting to see Fern, like how successful she has been with it, really makes me want to do it too, because she's also in the Pacific Northwest. And so I think having similar climate, if you guys are like wondering about a plant or how it'll do in your conditions, what I would recommend is looking at someone who's in a similar climate to you, see how they grow it. And similar climate as in, I feel like ferns might even be a little bit worse. Like, no offense in any way, but like because of the fact that it's up in Canada, like more snow and just more heavy like Pacific Northwest energy and weather, I guess, compared to me, which I definitely do get Pacific Northwest energy, but definitely not as much as I think Fern does. So seeing that she can grow it, I'm like hopeful in this, but oh, I'm so excited for this one. And moving on. Okay, the next one that we went to, it was called Andy's Orchids. We like walked in and we just like kind of walked past it because it looked like mostly orchids, and I don't know much about orchids, so I just kind of always like walk by the orchids because I'm like, they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, and like I love looking at them, but I know nothing about how to care for them. And then we ended up going back like 2 or 3 times, I think, and just kept like looking around, you know, seeing what was there. And the first thing, you guys, there was so many Ripsalis here too. I was so tempted, but I just couldn't. I don't know. Nothing was really catching my eye. I love all of them. And I actually think I saw like the true Bassifera, which is very thick compared to mine. I think there might be different forms of Bassifera because, I don't know, it's just very confusing when it comes to Ripsalis. But anyways, moving on. The next plant that I got, I cannot believe this is in my collection. It is a Ceratostemma rauhii, and I was so scared of getting this because I have just heard plenty of things about it, that, you know, it requires high humidity and that, you know, it needs a little bit more. But the guy that I talked to said that it's just very thirsty, you don't want to let it dry out. Granted, he did say that he grows in California, so it's a little bit different. So I'm kind of taking that with a pinch of salt. I think it'll still apply here, but the issue with my climate is I don't really get heat or that much humidity, especially in the winter. So I'm just hoping that this does okay. And I just absolutely love this, you guys. If you guys don't know what this is, it has beautiful flowers on the end that'll, you know, sort of come and like perch underneath these leaves. And it is mainly grown, I think it says up here, yeah, it's mainly grown in Ecuador. It wants, you know, bright light, and I just cannot wait. I've seen
Becca, her plant stories, she has had one, and I just cannot wait. I feel like this is going to be so fun to grow, and I already sort of think I know where I'm going to put this. I'm thinking of taking out my Pilotophorum from this area after this leaf expands, and then I'll probably replace it with this, just so that it's getting enough light and all of those good things. But I'm so excited to have this in my collection, and I'll try and insert the names as well if you guys are wondering what these are. It's interesting to me that they mounted this, because if it's thirsty, like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's an epiphytic plant as well, so it would make sense to mount it. But, like, it being thirsty, like, this just has so much aeration. But we'll see how that goes in my space. So there is that. You guys, I cannot wait to display with these plants either. I feel like I'm so happy with everything. And then the next one that I got, which he kind of sold me on, one of the workers there was just like, this, you know, this plant is so cool. It has like blueberries. I think it's known as like a blueberry orchid. I have no idea. I was hearing people talk about it, but I'm not entirely sure on that. And this is what it looks like. And as soon as he showed me the pictures, I really like the like blue of the blueberries. And so I just like imagined this. Also, I love the way that this grows. The like new growth is like pink. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of like pink. And I just imagined this like on one side kind of cascading, similar to how Fern has her linearis. And I just like imagined it, and I was like, okay. And then my friend was actually interested in another orchid, and she was like, I'll get this one if you get that one. And I was like, oh, fine, let's do it. Like, I'm just gonna get it. It's a very great area to bring orchids as like sellers, because in the Pacific Northwest, I feel like we don't really have a lot of like strictly orchid sellers. I think the closest one I could think of is like Little Orchid Annie. And so bringing like really unique orchids to the market here just really, I think, is very successful. And like even this like proves to it. Like there was begonias, you guys. My friend got this beautiful anthurium. I don't remember the name, but it has a similar belateness to the Lux, but it's like smaller. Maybe not the Lux, more like not the Debile. Not the Debile. Maybe it's the Rugosum or something like that. Something that's really, really pebbly, but like small pebbles, not like, you know, chunky pebbles. And it was like a velvety texture. It was just so beautiful, and it was pretty inexpensive. Like that was honestly a steal for an anthurium. And so yeah, anyways, that's besides the point. But I am so happy with everything I got. I can't wait to display with these. This is everything that I got from the show, and I am just absolutely so happy with everything that I saw, everything that I got. You guys, like, I am more than like pleased with everything that I received, I guess, everything that I got to see and enjoy, and I just absolutely love it. And I hope you guys enjoy the footage as well. I know it wasn't like anything crazy. This was my first year going, and so I also wanted to enjoy it for what it was, and so I tried to sort of, you know, record for you guys and get as much footage as I was pleased with, you know. And I don't know, I really enjoyed all of those clips, and just like the pings, you guys. The pings. Okay, anyways, moving on. That is everything that I got from this show, but there is a little surprise, which I think I already mentioned. I ordered something from North Shore Tropicals. Originally, I had asked her to hold this for me until the next live, and then I kind of just got a like shipping, you know, notification, and I was like, okay, I guess it works out, because I don't think I would have bought anything this live sale. And I'm so excited to show you guys. I cannot wait to show you what's in here. So let's just get to cutting this thing open, because I am so excited. I bought this even before like the show, which I knew I was going to the show, but what I purchased, I think I already talked about it. I'm not sure, but what I purchased, I didn't think I was gonna find in my area, and so I was like, you know what, I am just gonna do it. We're just gonna buy this now. And okay, oh my god, I can't wait. And I already know, I've watched her videos on like how she packages her stuff, her plants, and so I already know that this thing is gonna be packaged like so well, so thoughtfully too. And I should start saving stuff to to start trading stuff too, I guess. Okay, how in the world? Yeah, and it's just coincidentally that this package got here the day of this event too. And I'm trying to hurry because it's Valentine's Day, of course, and I'm going out with my boyfriend. And awesome. Oh my god, you guys can't even see anything, but let me. Oh god. Okay. This is just order information, and it's moist. Very moist. Yeah, the heat pack is literally still hot. Okay. This is my plant, so let's open it up. I'm sorry if you guys couldn't see any of that. Oh my god. Come on. Oh! Okay, whoa there, buddy. Let's calm down there. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I am like so nervous. I barely remember seeing this in the live. Like I saw it, don't get me wrong. But I like can't put together what it looked like in my brain. Okay. Okay, okay. Oh, I see leaves. Are you guys ready? Actually, that can stay there. Dang that. Okay, are you guys ready? It is a begonia. Oh. That breaks my heart. Oh my god. Please tell me this is a joke. I don't think that is anything in North Shore Tropical's control. I think it's just the begonia not shipping well. Oh man, that breaks my heart though. Anyways, yeah, it was a begonia lubersii, and that actually breaks my heart. I mean, it's a plant. It will grow back. Oh my god. And I think they just don't ship well. Oh man. That literally breaks my heart. It does have some new leaves, but maybe I'll try and propagate these leaves because they were so pretty. So freaking pretty. And they are like really flimsy. I'm sad. Maybe I'll put them in like a cup with sphagnum moss. And it's in Alice's tree fern fiber mix, which I'm pretty sure this is Alice's plant from what I can assume. Well, that one wasn't in such good condition, but I think it's because it's a begonia, and I think that's just beyond either of our control. So it was packed amazingly. I really don't think it was the packing, but I'm hoping that this will bounce back. It does have some new leaves. I'm not sure if it has roots. Can't see any on the outside. I think that's one there. Okay, well, yeah, that's a little bit of a sad one, but I'm hoping it bounces back. Oh, come on, there we go. I'm hoping it bounces back, and I don't know if I should put it in a dome, or maybe I will put it in a dome, but I'm just scared that transitioning it out of the dome might be a little bit difficult. I'm really not sure. Guys, I feel like I'm like mourning, but it is what it is. I don't have control over it. Okay. Okay. Anyways, that was my little haul. I know it didn't come to a great ending, but hopefully that will pick up soon. I don't know what to do. I'm really not sure what to do. It does have roots. You can see some. Oh yeah, okay. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a dome on this. Maybe just like that for now. And I guess we'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna put this under my Verenas so it gets some pretty good light, and I'm hoping that this will sort of help speed up the process of it moving along. It is a begonia, so I think it should be okay, but I don't know. I don't know what to do from here. I think maybe these two might be the ones that we, you know, save and go with. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just get a cup of like sphagnum moss and just lay these on there. Or do you think water? I don't know if these will even root. It seems like the plant just dropped them out of stress. Yeah, okay, I think I'm gonna try and put these in like a sphagnum moss situation, and hopefully they pick up from there. This one I think is for sure gone. It's like so flimsy, you guys, and it feels like spinach. So yeah, let's try and do that. Again, I'm not really sure what went wrong. I might just message Lauren and let her know what's going on. I don't really expect anything. Like, I honestly feel like it's just because it was a begonia, or it's just because it is a begonia, and shipping right now just is not good for plants, I guess. So we'll see where that goes. I hope it does well, and yeah, I am kind of sad. I really am. I was super excited for this begonia, and for it to, you know, come this way is really sad, but I think that it's just beyond either of our control, and now I guess it's just up to the plant whether it wants to live or die. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little sad, but it's okay. It's okay. I think that I'm gonna check and see where my boyfriend is at, and if we have time to repot some of them, I think we will do that. Probably the linearis and this one. I'm not really sure what to pot these in, to be honest. I don't know anything about these, so maybe I'll give it a little bit more time. I think the Hoya and the begonia maybe will repot first. And those sphagnum leaves. So let me get set up here. I think I'm honestly just gonna do it like really like promptu. I'm not gonna like set up. I'm trying to see the positive in the Lubersii, but it's a little bit hard, you guys. I was so excited for that plant, like so excited, but I guess it'll just make it mean more if it picks up, you know? Also, let me know how you guys feel about like these shows, like whether you guys even enjoy the content. There is some more coming up in like April and June and stuff like that, so if you guys are interested in seeing more of that, I would love to like bring you guys along. I'm not sure if what I even recorded was like enough for you guys. Like, was it enough to like for you to like, I don't know, get the full experience, you know, of what I experienced too. But some of the displays there were so beautiful, you guys. Like, it was actually ridiculous. And yeah, it was so much fun. Maybe I'll go next year. I'm not really sure yet. I guess that'll, you know, have to be decided then. Oh shoot, I didn't even check where my boyfriend is at. Maybe I'll do that after this. Again, I just took sphagnum moss in here. I'm hoping that these do something, just so that I have backups in case something happens to the original plant. But we shall see. Hello everyone, I'm back. It is the same day. It is literally like, what time is it? 9:13 at night. And so I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on everything that happened. I did message, oh my god, I'm not sure, Tropicals, and I'm not a very like confrontational person. Don't get me wrong, if you push my buttons enough, I will be, but I just don't like conflict. Like, I just rather not deal with that, you know? And so I was kind of like a little bit scared to message, you know, North Shore with like an issue. Again, I just don't like conflict, and it's just not, I just don't like it. And yeah, so I messaged her and she responded. She just said like, you know, how are the roots? I told her, because honestly I looked at them, like I looked pretty briefly and I was like, I don't see anything, and then I looked again when she asked me and I did see some brand new roots. I'm gonna see if maybe I can find them. There's one. Yeah, see, I do see some roots, but then others are here. Let's see. Yeah, see, this is pretty well rooted if I can do that. So I think that it's literally just shipping, and I told her that. I was like, I'm sure it's just the shipping, but you know, I'll keep you posted. And she was like, yes, please keep me posted, and you know, just let me know how everything goes. And what I ended up doing with the extra leaves is trying to propagate them. So I have them in a little like cup here, and they're inside, and I'm hoping that they'll root, just so that I have something as a backup. I actually want to feel that. I feel a little bit better. When I first opened it up, they just felt like spinach, and now they definitely feel a little bit firmer. I think I need to seal this off a little bit better though, because it's definitely not sealed off properly. But yeah, so I'm hoping that that does a little bit better, and like if anything does go wrong, I'll have, you know, that as a backup. But again, I think it's just a begonia being dramatic, especially like around this time, and I think it'll bounce back. I'm not like too afraid of it right now. I have, you know, good confidence in myself with begonias, and I feel like it'll do okay, you know. And so I'm hoping that that goes well. I was so sad, I'm not gonna lie, because I was really excited for the plant, but it's just what happens. I definitely should have lowered my expectations because it's the winter, you know, we're definitely not in the clear yet. And so yeah, I definitely should have just lowered my expectations a little bit for that one. And you guys, I've fallen completely in love with this begonia, and I just cannot stop, you know, glancing at it, staring at it. It is just so beautiful. Oh my goodness. It is crazy gorgeous. I think it might be experiencing some sort of what do you call it, shock from like going from, you know, where it was to my area. I'm not sure why. If it's like watered pretty well, I can definitely feel the moisture. The only thing I can say is it wasn't in a bright spot. I kind of just left it here on my area and then just like went to go on my little date and stuff. And so I think that that's the only thing. And I mean, as long as it's just this leaf, that should be okay. And this leaf is also like kind of chomped on. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like a little like dent in there, but I'm not gonna repot this right now. I think that I'm just gonna let this have its moment, and then when it, you know, feels a little bit better, feels a lot more perkier, then I will, you know, do whatever I need to do. But for now, I think I'm definitely gonna leave this one alone. I definitely want to find the ID for you guys on this one because it is just so freaking cool. And I did get the blue. It is just my dream begonia, to be honest, because it has that blue shift. It's a Rex. I love Rexes. I don't know what it is with Rex. Every time I see a cane begonia, they just kind of like stress me out a little bit. Not because of like their growth, but like because of the way that they grow. They'll grow really tall, and like at the top it'll be really full, but then the whole like bottom of the stem is just like empty. And with Rexes, they grow fast and bushy, and you don't have to worry about like chopping it, up potting it really, and you can up pot it like from pretty small increments. So I like, this is like literally my dream begonia. So I'm so happy I got this one, and for that price, you guys, literally 79 $7.99. Wait, what? $7.99. Yeah, I love this one so much. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not gonna repot that one, and I did move it into a little bit more light down below you guys right now, which actually I have a little bit of an update. You guys, this is my Syningia leucotricha. I think I've showed you guys this recently. If you guys can tell, like, I'm already so pleased that it's growing for me. I love this plant so much. It is so freaking cute. But I don't know if you guys can see in the center there. I don't know if my exposure is too high. Those are buds. It's hopefully gonna flower for me. And I am like so overjoyed. Like, what the heck? What the heck? Oh my god. If it actually does like fully open those flowers, which when I first got this Syningia, it did have those flowers, so I got to experience them, but I didn't expect myself to like get to experience them again. Honestly, I was like, okay, it's just gonna, you know, this is a one-time thing. Like, I'm just gonna get to see these now. That's about it. But like, if it actually flowers and they like open up and come to fruition, I'm just gonna be so excited. Like, oh my god. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is so cute. And yeah, anyways, I don't even know why I updated you guys on that one. But today I think we're just gonna repot the linearis, and I think we're gonna repot my blueberry orchid. I'm not even sure if that's what it's called. But I do want to, oh my goodness, I do want to sort of shift this a little bit so that the like leaves are all cascading on one side and it's not like going out both sides, you know. But I'm a little bit scared of this one. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just a little bit scared of this one. I don't know much about it, so we'll see how confident I feel about this one. I might just do this another day after I've done a little bit more research. It's called a Spirospermum buxifolium. Yeah, I do want to do a little bit more research, so I think maybe tonight we won't do this one, but we shall see. I don't know, you guys, I love these little like, it's like red, kind of like the Huperzia. It like comes out like this pink. Oh, you can see it really well right here. I don't know, my camera, I think it's because I have red on. It's just not, it's a lot more like blushy in person, and it is so freaking cute. Oh my god. I also am kind of just tempted to leave it in this little like cage thing and then find a pot for it that I like and just plop this in there, because I don't mind that. I just don't want this like wire thing. So I guess we'll leave that one for now. Also, if you guys are growing your Ceratostemma rauhii out in ambient conditions, please let me know how you care for it, and let me know what region you're in, like if you're in the Pacific Northwest, or even like your zone, like your, I think we're zone like 8A or something like that. I don't remember. I don't know my zones, but I will definitely appreciate any information with that one. I just want to show it to you guys one more time. It is so cute. Oh my god. And there was multiples, and I actually think I got like a B-roll of that. And so the other like had like multiple vines coming off of one, but this one was longer, and then I just also didn't like how they were growing. Like it was like up, like kind of like arched, and then like it had the vines coming down that were just cascading downwards, but this one was just like straight down, and so I enjoyed that a lot more than the others. And so yeah, so far I haven't noticed anything crazy with this one. The leaves still feel very, very firm. They don't feel like wilty or like they're losing their water. I did ask one of the owners about a little bit more about this plant. Oh my god, I need to sand this down. I asked him a little bit more about the care, and they do have these like cool little like QR code scanners, so I can scan it and like learn a little bit more about the plant and like see its flowers and all of that. Where was I going with this? Oh, he mentioned that he grows this outdoors in California, and he just does not let it dry out, like whatsoever. You do not want this to dry out. And he even mentioned like, but it's in California, you know, so like the conditions are going to be different. And so I'm taking that with a grain of salt, and I think I mentioned that earlier too. But I think even, I know her Plant Stories has one of these, and even from what I've heard from her, you do not want to let these dry out. And so we shall see how this goes. I am so excited to have this in my collection. I'm not even kidding you. For so long, I thought I wasn't ever gonna have this in my collection. I thought I was just gonna like, I don't know. I thought like maybe in the future when I have my own space, when I have my own, you know, thing to actually do, and like like a greenhouse and like space to actually, you know, shift around and create to my own. But like the fact that I have this in my collection right now is just like, you guys know me, I love these like cool like dainty plants, and I love it so much. And yeah, hopefully this grows well, because I feel like the thing with like a lot of my collection is like with my solanum, like so many people say it's a terrarium plant, you know, you have to grow it in a terrarium. And if I can just prove like all of those misconceptions wrong and like convince you guys to grow these awesome like terrarium plants in like non-terrarium plant conditions, I would love that. And I would just like love to have like everyone just like be able to enjoy these plants because they're so cool. And I think that everyone deserves at least one of these. If you have any garden shows around you, I definitely recommend you go to them. I went with a friend. We're constantly going to like houseplant stores and stuff, and there was just so much variety at this show that you just don't get from like a plant store. So if you are, or even like reptile expos too, I haven't been to one of those, so I can't really say much about it, but I have seen other people who will go to those and they'll find like cool terrarium plants. So if you are interested in that, and if you're willing to go, I would definitely recommend it. It was so much fun, and we have some other ones coming up, so we'll see if I want to record for those. Okay, well, I guess the only thing we're going to be repotting today is, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think it might just be the linearis, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to I also wanted to talk about these a little bit more, but I don't want to repot the LRCA because it has a little itty bitty baby right above my finger. It has two actually. And so I just want to leave this one alone. I want to let them develop a little bit more. And if you guys are confused on pinguicula care, I learned so much today about pinguiculas, like just based off of one question. I asked the owner of Predatory Perennials, which I learned that she used to like, she started out just like selling cuttings or like offshoots of like Sarracenia from her backyard, and then like she just like slowly developed into like this amazing business of like having pings and Sarracenia and Drosera and just like all these really cool plants. And so yeah, she was sort of telling us her story. And then like when we were checking out, I asked her like, oh, do you let them dry out because of what I've been struggling with my pinguicula pirouette. And I also picked up like one of them that like they had like these trays, and I picked one up and it was like really dry. And so it kind of made me like think like, whoa, like do they let them dry out? Because I don't know, with carnivorous plants, that's what I normally get. Like you have to, you aren't supposed to let them dry out. But I guess pinguiculas are a little bit different, and I didn't know this before. I feel like there's so much out there about pings that there's just like so much variety and care. But like knowing that she grows them in my same exact area and has had this, you know, amazing experience with carnivorous plants, I think it's how I'm going to shift my pinguicula care. I think I'm still going to try to grow a no drainage with pinguiculas, but just let them dry out. I just am not sure how that's gonna work with like peat moss, you know, base mix. So we'll have to see. But yeah, and the raspberry blonde, which I will pop in pictures of these flowers, both of them, because I'm interested. I know what the raspberry blonde looks like, and I am so excited. Like, you guys have no idea, this flower is like beyond beautiful, and I cannot wait. And I actually got one that has two, which I feel so lucky in that. This was, I think, the only one that I saw that had two, and I am trading that one with Green and Sheen, which I am like so like happy for her, because I know how happy I am to like receive this plant. So like I can just like imagine how she feels, like so excited to like have this in her collection. Yeah, so I'm gonna trade this at some point. I do want to let it develop a little bit more, so I'm like, do I want to repot this one too? I don't think so. I think I just want to let it breathe. So with that being said, we are only going to repot the linearis, and I think that that's okay for tonight, to be honest. And then maybe we'll repot these this weekend. I was hoping to get this video up by this Sunday, which tomorrow's already Thursday. So I'm gonna need to be on my on my grind for this video. But yeah, I'm so excited with everything. Oh my god. Okay, let me put these back and then we'll get into linears. I realized that if I'm gonna start incorporating this care within my pinguiculas, I'm gonna have to repot my bog again. And the reason I say that is because I have Utricularia in here, which love to be in like the boggiest of conditions, and then the sphagnum moss I'm a little bit worried about. I feel like I worked so hard for all of this, so now I'm just kind of like undoing everything I just did, especially since the Utricularia is about to flower. It's right around this area, and so I think what we're gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and just pluck out what I can, and I'm probably gonna do this and just like time lapse through it, because I kind of want to hone in on this a little bit. I've redone this bog like so many times, so yeah, that is not something I necessarily want to, you know, continue to show, because at some point it's gonna get annoying. So I'm just gonna time lapse through that, and yeah, and then we'll get into the linearis when we finish doing this. God. Okay, little quick break. Look at all those bladders. This plant was so happy. Oh my god. Also, again, another interruption. If you guys watched my video on the Jamavensis, I don't know if I actually showed you guys this when it was first a little baby. This is what it looks like now. It is so much bigger, and it is, I think these actually surprisingly get pretty big. I think they can get up to like maybe a quarter sized. I'm not entirely sure, but I know they can get a little bit bigger than I assumed the first time. Another interruption. I also feel like the Jamavensis and the Pinguicula pirouette go so well together, because the Jamavensis has like really little like splashes of pink, and the pirouette just has like full leaves of pink, so it's just like so pretty together. I don't know, I love it so much. I'm so happy that I got to add 2 more pings to my collection of pings, because they're just so cool. And if you don't have pings, get one, like ASAP. Trust me, you need one. And even if you feel like they aren't really that cool, when you grow them, they're so cool. Like, and they're so like rewarding to grow and so easy to grow. Like, it's just crazy. Also, I also want to preface the whole like Pinguicula care thing. I don't want to say that the way that I was caring for them was wrong, because again, I don't feel like there's truly a wrong or right way to grow your Pinguiculas or your plants in general, because that way that I was growing them, like keeping them moist and consistently keeping a reservoir in there, they flowered for me multiple times, and that's the whole reason that my Pinguicula split. And so you guys have seen the proof that like that way works fine, you know. But I think it's also good to test out different ways, especially when I'm struggling with how they look. Here, let me show you. So I want you to compare these two to how, and even like the pirouettes at the show looked drastically different from mine. Like, they just looked really like thin and like almost like fleshy. I don't want to say that because that's kind of gross, but like really thin and just like jelly like almost. And that's kind of like what these two look like. Oh my god, I love that I'm like doing so great at showing you guys these. But like then you compare it to mine and you can see the difference. Like, I can see the difference, and so I just kind of want to see what I can shift
to sort of get closer to like this, because this is definitely more of like what the texture of the pirouette should be like, and it should be a lot more like flat and just like very like, I don't know how to describe it, but compared to when I first got it, it is drastically different. So that's the whole reason we're doing this little gist. Also, I don't know where I'm gonna stick all of this extra stuff. I have like this and this, oh, and then a whole bunch of moss, and I'm thinking that I'm gonna do a little pot of this on its own, because I wouldn't mind, but what pot is the issue. So now I have to look and scavenge through my collection to see what I have. Now for the linearis, which I am gonna split some off for a friend, so that'll be fun. Oh my goodness, I am so happy. Originally I was gonna try and trade for this plant, like trade some of my pings for this plant, but I don't know, I'm not sure how likely it is that I'll end up with this plant, you know. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. And it's the first time I've ever seen a linearis at like anywhere in my area. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And so I did it, and here we are. And this one has multiple little babies. Oh god. And of course it's in too big of a pot. Lila, move, please. Oh my god, she wants to be the star of the show. What? 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 You love to talk. I have dirt all over my hands, girl. You love to talk, huh? Yeah? What? You guys, I love how much she talks. It is literally why I chose her breed, because you could literally, and I like, why is there leaves falling? You could literally have a whole conversation with Lila, and she would talk back to you. She'll keep you company in conversation, don't worry. I can tell that there was so many cuttings that were put in here and just like rotted. I think they're just like, you know, they're just kind of putting them in there, and whatever makes it, whatever doesn't. But this was definitely in too big of a pot. Wait, is this rooted? There's a leaf in here that's rooted. I guess I'll keep it in here too. I don't know that it's gonna do anything, but okay, this is one cutting, which I do want to separate some for a friend. So let's see. Oh, that's another cutting. So there's what, four cuttings in here. This is another cutting. Okay, I definitely want to keep these. So I think I'm going to give my friend this one right here, so that she has something to work with. And I think maybe I'll keep this one, or I can just give it to her too. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Whoa. What is happening? What is happening? I'm sorry guys, these little like leaves are very scary to like repot with. Okay, this soil I'm just gonna toss. I never end up using this type of soil, cute pots right now, so we're just gonna go with these cups, which are so old. But that's okay. Okay. Oh my god. Okay.
You guys are not going to see much of this, so I apologize in advance. Also, I filmed a video on my soil mix a while ago. It was like a couple weeks ago maybe. And that video just did not make the cut. Didn't enjoy filming it, so I decided let's just scrap this footage. And so I don't know if you guys are still interested in like a soil mix video. It was supposed to be like a all in all, like everything about soil, or everything that I know about soil and can give to you about soil. And then yeah, I just don't know if you guys would be interested in it. I haven't really been motivated to film that again because of how annoying it is to kind of just like, once I've already kind of like spat information out, one, it's hard to like remember if I've talked about it or not, and two, it's just hard to remember in general like what I wanted to say, especially for that video, because I was kind of disorganized and I just didn't really I didn't really take notes for it. I just kind of sat down and was like, let's chat. And so I don't know, let me know how you guys feel. Should I re-record that video? Are you guys even interested in that? Or would you just prefer for me to move on and like film something else? Because I don't mind either or. I do still really want to talk about soil. But if you guys don't want to see that, that is perfectly okay. It would be a shorter upload for sure. I don't know that I can sit there talking about soil for 40 minutes, you know? And I also want it to be like a beginner-ish friendly video, I guess. But yeah, let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel about like educational content in general. I feel like I'm definitely not, it's not my favorite content to film, and I think you guys can feel that too, just because I kind of tend to stray away from filming that. Just because I feel like you can only explain so much until it just becomes like cycled through. Like I've already sort of done content like that before on my channel, and I did not enjoy that either. Granted, that information is probably not even what I do now. So I don't know. Just let me know how you feel, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But these are all potted up. This one is my friend's. Look at how cute that is. Oh my god. I love that for her. And then this one is mine, which looks a little bit wrangled. I kind of want to take some cuttings and like experiment. But I don't know if I am up for that currently at the moment. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna wait and propagate this during the, like as it's getting warmer and warmer, which I know pretty soon it's gonna start happening. I think we're gonna be in like the 50s. It was so nice today. It was so nice yesterday. So I feel like we're already sort of, you know, coming out of that like winter-esque vibe. And so I think that once it starts to warm up a little bit, I think the humidity around the roots will really like set these Hoyas into stone and like make sure that they are set up to do well. So I'm gonna wait on that. But if you guys are wanting to get a Hoya linearis, I already love this plant and I am already like so obsessed with it. And I'm not gonna lie, this was a plant I actually didn't like for a very long time. I don't know why. It never piqued my interest. And then like I think there was just one day where I was like thinking about ferns, because I watched her channel and I watched her sort of like consecutively like grow it to what it is now, and I was like, why do I not like that plant? Like that plant is so cool. Like you just don't see plants like this that's like these, like this is the leaf, this is literally the leaf. And oh, trailing, like a big trailing pot of these. My god, guys, this in a Vanda basket, that is my like signature, by the way. My signature is like putting any vining plant in a Vanda basket and calling it good, because it just looks so good. Like it looks so crazy good, and like you just don't even have to try to make it look good, you know. But yeah, that is that. I'm gonna stop talking now. so that, I don't know, I'm not here all day. But yeah, I think I'm gonna see you guys one more time before I end off this video. Maybe not sure, to repot that begonia. If anything, I think I might do it off camera, but depending on how much time, I think on Friday I'll have time to film. So we shall see you then. Hello everyone, welcome to today's, wait, what? Oh my god. Okay, hello everyone. It is currently Sunday, February 18th, so it technically has been a week, but I haven't filmed, you know, throughout the whole week. I don't even know what I'm gonna name this video, but I just wanted to give an update on everything that I got. Everything has been doing pretty great. Like, I don't have really any complaints. And I did repot most of everything that I got. Also, I'm sorry for my background noise. I have like no choice right now. Besides the begonia, these are not begonias. Besides the pinguicula, I've repotted everything. Oh, and the Luberzii, of course. I left that one completely alone. I'll give you guys a little update now. It has a leaf unfurling, so I think this is okay. It definitely wouldn't be unfurling this if it wasn't okay. So yeah, the Luberzii is on the mend, and yeah, I already said these. I haven't repotted these. They've just been sitting alone on their own underneath my lights. And then I repotted the begonia Midnight Magic, I think I discovered that this is called. So it's in my mix now. I also separated a little piece of it for my friend, and yeah, I really like this begonia. I'm so happy with it. It is, yesterday it was like flopped over, but it was because I hadn't watered it after I repotted it. And yeah, I'm so happy with everything I got still, and no regrets on any of that. And you guys already saw the linearis. I actually took a cutting for my brother's girlfriend, which I have in water, but I'm thinking about just moving that to soil, but I don't know. I've never propagated begonias. What is up with me and begonias? I've never propagated Hoyas that way, so I'm not sure on that, but these are separated. You guys already saw this, and they've been doing perfectly fine. They're watered, and I'm just so happy with all of this, and I'm actually super happy with my experience. We were actually about to go again, because it was just, I don't know, like it was so fun, and I am definitely gonna try and go next year. So yeah, and then here I have that orchid, which I also repotted. I just put it in this pot, which the mix that I put it in is cocoa chips and like the really chunky perlite, which is like this size perlite. And yeah, so I just put it in that because I figured it's an orchid. I don't know if that was the right decision, but the roots on this are so thin, like thinner than solanum, thinner than Hoyas. Oh my god. Thinner, sorry you guys, I have not eaten today. It's thinner than begonia roots and even Hoya roots, so they're just super thin. And yeah, it hasn't really shown any stress in any way, so I think it's okay. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think so. I think that's all that I got, and I'm sorry that this video was so hectic. I didn't even really introduce it as a week of, but this was somewhat of a week of. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how you guys feel about this video. I know it's also really long, so I'm trying to like hurry this along, but if you guys have any shows near you, go to them. They are so worth it. And even if you don't want to get anything, I think it's still a really nice experience to see what your area has to offer in these events. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I truly hope you enjoyed.